Yeah, 2, 1, and we're
Buy a house!
What's up? My name's Zachary.
I'm Patrick.
And houses are cool, so we're going to talk about them. How's your week been, man?
Man, it's great. It's been cool and nice.
Cool. Cool and nice. So let's get into it first. Average price point in Delaware, staying stable.
Yeah.
Not seeing over the last 2 weeks any severe shifts or changes in our average price point. Days on market is becoming this odd anomaly that's different from county to county.
Yeah, depending on where you're at, it definitely changes of like how long your house stays on market. But a lot of the areas where the homes are staying on the market a lot longer are directly affected a lot by new construction and stuff that's sitting on the market longer.
A lot of new construction. And quite honestly, just when it comes to, we don't have enough inventory in certain areas, and there's certain agents that are just overlisting properties. I made a post about it on TikTok the other day. It was like a $500,000 home. It was like just sold for like $298 3 years ago. Like, that's not normal. It's not normal.
You can try.
You can try. You can give it a shot. But like we said, locationally, it's crazy that real estate would vary based off location. That's
Location.
Location. What does that
I was
mean?
just having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and they were just like, man, you should have seen these $1 million houses in Arkansas. They were huge.
Wait, is that pause? $1 million. I don't know if that's a sentence that can be completed. $1 million homes in Arkansas?
Yes.
Where in Arkansas?
I don't know. We were just talking about it.
Does the house take up like a quarter of the state of Arkansas?
Basically, but anyway, they were just saying like this
With
is
3,000 acres.
They were just like, it's the Taj Mahal. It's got huge land, and I was just like, you should see some of the ship bungalows that we have down in Dewey.
Yeah, they go for it. They go, and the closer to the sand yard, again, location. So the location in Delaware is odd. So if you're where we're at in Dover, which is central Delaware, you're seeing a market that's still very hot.
Yep.
Homes are going quickly if priced properly. We have a stat that literally shows that about 80% of homes are selling within 2 to 3 weeks, with about 20% remaining on the market for 4 weeks plus. So most are selling 20 days or less.
Yeah.
Some are selling 30, 40, 50 days plus. And it's really based off pricing, and it's like a line in the sand. Either it's going to have a lot of offers and attention, or it's going to sit.
And I mean, you could always initially, like, if you pay attention to the market when you're a real estate agent, you can initially accidentally overlist a home.
Sure.
Pay attention to what the house is doing, though, in the interim, and know that price adjustments.
Why? No, keep going. You just let me interrupt. But why are agents overlisting homes? And empathetically speaking, why are agents listing homes?
Because this market's so volatile. If you don't pay attention to it daily, you don't understand it. If you're paying attention to what the news sources feed you, you're going to have at least a
inkling of knowledge
30 or 90-day lag on what's going on.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, when I got into this market 7 years ago, almost 6.5 years ago, it was very possible to go on Zillow, to go on realtor.com and look up the 9 homes that had sold in the neighborhood and be like, yep, this should be the price as a realtor.
Yeah.
That's not this world now.
Nope. And
that's why people are pricing their homes crazy, Pat. Because they see the home that sold back in July, and that's the only home that sold in the neighborhood. And it's not the same market. Lower interest rates, higher demand, all that. So let's talk about another section of Delaware that's feeling a different effect. Newcastle, Wilmington, Delaware. Holy guacamole.
It's a freaking war zone.
It's a war zone, and not like Call of Duties, even though that was fun.
Yeah.
We should play the new Rebirth Island at some point.
We're gonna.
But the main priority is the fact that homes in Wilmington, and we're talking about if priced marginally correctly.
Yeah.
Marginally correctly, are getting offers 40, 60, 80,000 over. Amanda, you're not here. Do I have permission to share your offer that got declined? Yes. Okay, cool. So she had put in an offer where they had an appraisal gap coverage. If it underappraised, the buyers would pay for it. It was a conventional loan with 20% down. It's like a $400,000 home. That's like 80 grand. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
All right. And for a first home, you need 80 grand. Let's keep going. No inspections. They waived all inspections.
We don't want to know what's wrong.
30-day close. They're already pre-qualified. Already have all their documents and submitted the offer. 20 grand over asking. They got beat by 3 other offers.
Yeah.
Imagine spending 5 years doing everything right, Pat. Imagine that for a second. You do everything right. You save your money. You don't spend stupidly. You keep your credit right. They got like a 700 plus credit score. You got 80 grand in the bank. Probably more because you still need money for closing costs.
Yeah.
You at least got 20% down on a 400 grand home. And they say, sorry, you're not even in third place.
That sucks.
That's crazy. So why is Wilmington experiencing this?
Well, I feel like the major reasons why a lot of the areas up north in Newcastle County are feeling the heat of all this market is because everybody's moving from out of state over the line into Delaware.
Yep.
And because of that, they're saving themselves hundreds of dollars a month.
It's Amanda. Hi, Amanda. We were just talking about you.
You're talking
Wilmington.
smack.
So, yeah, go ahead.
But basically, you cross over the Delaware into the Delaware line. Yep. You literally end up saving yourself hundreds of dollars a month on a mortgage payment because of the taxes alone.
Property taxes go lower as soon as you drop over the line. Property value drops over as soon as you go over the line. Income tax, shopping tax, all the taxes go down the moment you jump from Philly to Wilmington, Jersey to Wilmington, PA to Wilmington, Newcastle. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing that market's growing insanely. Do you see something or someone stopping that? Like, where does it end?
Oh, a lot.
That's
of
a loaded
stuff.
question. There's a lot of factors.
There's a lot of things that could go wrong, and I don't know exactly what they are, but it has nothing to do with the housing market currently.
And then Sussex County, we have two completely different markets.
Yes.
We have a market that's mirroring kind of Kent County.
Yeah.
That's very active, very hot, priced right, it's going to sell, and the beaches and new construction, where a lot of homes are sitting, a lot of new construction, a lot of homes that are overpriced potentially down there.
And a lot of the reason why these new constructions are sitting is because half of them are not even completed, and who wants to buy a home that they can't even see yet?
They can't even see it. A lot are in areas that were just, I don't know, they were fields this time last year, 2 years ago, and they were simply built because we're running out of land, we're running out of spaces.
A lot of the areas that they're shoving houses into they suck.
Some of them, some of them, especially as you're going up the highway. I agree. And that's causing a lot of the days on market average to be higher in Sussex County just because they have a lot of floor plans sitting on the market, right?
Yep.
But that doesn't mean that homes aren't selling. When a home is listed and priced correctly, it is still selling.
100%, as long as you, especially if it's a resale and you can actually have people view it, go through it, and it's properly priced.
Someone's looking to sell right now. What would you tell them? Nationwide. You're talking to TikTok over here. We got TikTok on this side. What are you telling nationwide? You're thinking of selling. You've had the pillow talk of we got equity in our house. All right. What should we do? There's so many voices coming out saying, right now, Congress is coming down on the Fed, saying the Fed's messing everything up.
Yeah.
The Fed's wrong. The Fed's made a bad, and you can view either side of that. We also have another side that says we may crash. There's a whole other side that says we'll never see homes this cheap again. Which voice do you believe?
You go based on your gut, and you go based on locale.
Your gut? What if I just ate pizza? My gut's going to be wrong.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, you go based on your locality. Like, it's very hard to speak
it's a
to
very location.
It's very hard for me to sit here and speak to the entire United States about what you should be doing because, like, areas like Austin, Texas,
Las Vegas, Idaho.
Inventory is super high and demand is super low right now.
Yep.
You could get a steal.
Miami.
Delaware is not that case.
And especially SVP dropping, Silicon Valley Bank.
Yeah, I mean,
that funded a lot of tech companies in California. We already saw a 10% layoff from tech companies. Then we went and found that, and the home values in California are getting like weird.
Yeah.
People are trying to get out of there. I don't know long-term what it looks like, but short-term, it's just like, whoa. You look at a map of like how home prices are moving, and it's just like red, oranges, orange, yellow, blue, all in California.
I just feel like, drastically speaking, just bluntly, like the banks
SVP.
the SVP.
B.
SVP. Silicon Valley Bank, I know what it is.
SVP is a sports guy, Scott Van Pelt. So
whatever. Messed up.
Not Scott Van Pelt.
P versus B. Other than emotional response to interest rates over like the past like maybe 7 days.
Yeah.
That's not going to affect Delaware whatsoever. I don't see where that's going to have any major.
We've seen. Yeah, you're right because demand stays up even when we're above 7%.
That's nothing that we should worry about here whatsoever.
I want higher interest rates.
I necessarily.
I think that's a health. Oh, I believe what the Fed's doing and Jerome Powell's doing in the effect of if we raise interest rates, we curb demand, we allow sellers to get into a position, which will take a long time because, like you said, more than 50%. And I don't know that stat. I'm saying your stat.
I don't remember who quoted it. I don't remember who saw it.
That the majority of homeowners right now have a 4% or lower mortgage, which I fully believe because we had a long time frame where that could happen. And a lot of people, I'll raise my hand to having a home with the situation with low twos, high ones. I'm in the low twos percentage-wise. So it would take a long time at high interest rates for enough sellers to say, regardless of having to pay a higher mortgage payment, regardless of I have a low mortgage, we have to move for divorce, death, kids, dogs, new job, something. But that's not a short-term fix. And I think that's where the Congress and Fed are misaligned, where Congress and everyone wants things good, want the economy good, want things healthy, where the Fed's like, we got to go through a little bit of BS before it's going to come out on the other side. I think that's where the two are fighting.
And I feel like the Congress, I mean, lo and behold, there's tons of people that do their research and do pay attention to what's going on. If we pull the plug too early, we've already seen on multiple occasions what happens.
To speak to what pull the plug early means, the Fed's plan of raising interest rates, if they were to come back and say, hey, we're not doing any Fed rate increases anymore, we're going to allow the bond market and everything to cool out, and we're going to allow mortgage rates to kind of sift back into high fours, low fives, home prices would go crazy.
It would be a shit show.
It would be.
Sorry, my language.
No, it would be. Facebook hates you now. Mark Zuckerberg's going to cancel you. But he's an alien. It doesn't matter. You're right. It's because especially we already have so much demand. Like we said in Newcastle, homes aren't staying on the market for more than 2 days. They're getting multiple offers, over asking.
So
cash,
scary.
No contingencies. Imagine if the 4.5% interest rate person that could only afford it for 4.5% now re-enters the market. First of all, like stand no chance. You stand no chance because now, guess what? The person who has all the money in the bank in the world that now also gets a 4% mortgage interest rate. You're all playing in the same field. That's the problem, and that's I made a TikTok video discussing how first-time homebuyers should have some certain rights and programs and things that give them a real steep advantage, and right now you don't. So as a first-time homebuyer, I wouldn't necessarily be cheering for mortgage rates to go down.
Yeah.
Which sucks, because you want mortgage rates to go down.
You want?
But then home prices go right back up, and we're in the same position we started in.
I don't even know how many houses have to get built in order to make sure that...
Tons. We're about 6.2 million short.
Yeah.
It's 6.2 million homes short. I think we need to start building small home neighborhoods, tiny home neighborhoods. I think there needs to be a strong focus on townhomes, row homes, units, condos that are nice, apartments that are nice.
With specific grants and programs that allow people, first-time homebuyers, to get the first pick at these.
I love what Canada does. Canada has a lockdown that says, hey, for a certain, I think it's 30 days, certain period of time where corporations can't buy. Investors can't buy. If it is a secondary property for you, you cannot purchase it until X period of time has come to pass. I suggest 30 days. 30 days where only first-time home buyers or people who don't already have another primary mortgage they've utilized have an opportunity at the home through a time period or through they just get a better interest rate. I think that's another thing, too. Why can't we create something from the federal level where they get a lower percent interest rate if they've never owned real property? And if you've never owned real property, now you have the opportunity to get your first home. And Susie and John don't get to buy their seventh one on the same level playing field as you.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
It's just not fair. It's like me saying, I want to get better at basketball. And they're like, cool, here are the Los Angeles Lakers. Go play with them.
And here's a football.
Yeah, here's a football. Exactly. But you're talking about people who have had, like Tom and Jerry, they bought their property 20 years ago, 30 years ago for $100,000.
A cat and a mouse?
Okay, I picked the wrong names. Sarah and Joe. Sarah and Joe. Yeah, this cat and this mouse have this property. Even they could afford it back then.
They can't even live at anybody else's house, let alone their own.
He's got to live in a hole in the wall. So you get these guys, Sandra and Joe, that buy their property. I mean, guys, people were buying beach properties, sand on the water for $80,000 back in the early 90s.
But that was like 8 times the normal yearly income.
Not really. I'm going to argue with you on that one. And I'm going to say
If you were buying...
Income was in the early 90s, averaging between the high 20s and the low 30s. Today is in the 40s to 50s. Meanwhile, home prices have gone from an average of 100 and somewhere like 140,000 to now the average United States housing price is 400,000 plus.
Sorry.
So those ratios don't match.
I just thought when you said $80,000 for a beachfront property, I was just like, that was back in the 30s.
But no, we're talking early 90s, and that's Delaware. That's specific. But the point remains, a home on the market today that's going under contract for $500,000 in 2018 was worth $300,000.
Whoa.
And that giant increase, that's a stat. That's 41% increase. That is the price point of homes. That's the amount that is going up in the last 3.5 years. That's not healthy. It's left first-time home buyers behind. It's left the people who are making all the right moves, keeping their credit score up, keeping their income high, saving money. It's put them in a situation where they can't compete.
Sucks.
So we're going to keep you updated on everything that's going on in the housing market. What do you suggest to the person who's sitting watching this? Like, this is a little doom and gloom. How do I buy a house? What should I do? Spotlight's on you. And then I'll give my take.
The biggest thing is,
how does Sean get a house?
If you want to get your first home, say you're a first-time home buyer and you're trying to purchase your first real property, make the monthly payment work for you first and foremost, because we can't guarantee how long this is going to happen. But look for those properties that you know have been sitting on the market a little bit longer. Understand that this is a starter home. Understand that you can build equity into it if it's something that needs to get fixed up a little bit, as long as it can get financed. Like, that's where I see the majority of people succeeding is have a realistic expectation of what your money can buy, and then be actionable about it.
Be actionable. Can I give my opinion?
Yes.
If I'm sitting across from you right now, you're a first-time home buyer, and we're looking at your numbers. You have a 700 credit score. You got $10,000 in the bank. You got good jobs, dual income, no kids. Perfect financial situation to get your first home. You got good history with your credit. Everything lines up. You're pre-approved. Here's the thing. Your $300,000 home. Sorry, I'm boring you. My bad.
No,
I'll be more exciting. $300,000.
I was at the gym at 5 a.m. I'm sorry.
And cold plunged. Hell yeah. The average home, $310,000 in Delaware, right? If we're looking at that from the standpoint of that buyer, you're putting 3.5% down. That's $9,000. Cool. You have $10,000, so we can utilize that. You're also going to have closing costs. You're not going to get that covered unless the home's been sitting on the market a little bit and the seller's feeling negotiable. That can happen, especially in Kent County. Now, what I'm telling that first-time home buyer is you need to understand, this payment's going to be higher than what it would have been if you bought 2.5 years ago. You're going to have a payment that's probably about $2,400 to $2,500.
Yep.
So, the expectation needs to be there. Now, I may also look at you and say, wait, now's not the exact moment to jump. As I'm looking at these numbers, and that's why we jump on this, to week, what's going on. I'm telling you right now, if you're looking to buy your very first home, wait. You may say, I'm pre-approved, I'm ready to go. Sit. Wait. Because right now, where interest rates are, in the current situation of this market, we are not seeing enough inventory to hit the market to supply the buyers we have. So you entering the market in a position where you're already going to be at a disadvantage,
super competitive price
may not be the right move for you. You may be saying, Zach, I am ready. We are looking. Great. Keep doing it. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I am saying as someone who has a fiduciary right to our clientele, meaning we have your needs first, not our own, I'm telling you exactly what I would tell my son, my daughter, my friend, my family member. I would potentially look at waiting.
Till when?
I would wait until I would actionably wait, because you said actionable. I thought it was a great term. I would save more money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aiming for $25,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
Not 10 anymore. I used to say 10. I'm saying 25. If you don't end up needing it, great. You only need 12. Awesome. Now you got $13,000 you can go spend on Pokemon cards. Awesome. You got $25,000. That's what I'm aiming for. I want you to have a 700 credit score or more. 620. That's awesome. There's more programs available at 700. There's better interest rates at 700 and more. I would shoot for that. And the next thing I'm shooting for is the expectation this is a starter home. Townhomes, condos, units, anything that's going to build equity for you is better than living at your parents'. It's better than living with a friend. It's better than renting. Speaking of living with a friend, I really think there's a world that comes up in the soon on the timeline where roommates just become much more normal.
Yes.
If you get a 4-bedroom home, you got 2 extra beds that could supply some income to cover that mortgage. I know people already do that, but not a lot of people think about it or make action on it. That's what I'm telling a first-time home buyer right now.
Yeah,
it's
that
time
makes
to get
sense.
creative and time to maybe be a little patient.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the biggest thing that I tell people, too, is when we're looking for that first-time home buyer range, 350 and below.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough. There's so many people that want it.
You're gonna get punched in the face left and right when we're gonna be putting in your first couple offers.
We've had 2.5 years where people haven't been able to move.
Completely understandable. That's not saying that it can't happen, though. There will be a situation where it won't be as demanding. The market will shift and have a lull where people are going to be holding their feet back, and you're going to be the person that's going to be actionable. You're already going to be ready, and then hopefully we can get you inside our home.
And this is my advice this week. Some good things in the future. Number one, we're looking at April and May's inflation report. They could come back saying we're curbing it. Also, banks closing or crashing could mean that we're not going to get another Fed rate increase.
Yeah.
It's a couple positive things that could happen. Again, is interest rates going down going to immediately fix things? I don't think so.
Nope.
But regardless, that's the advice I would give right now. That's myself, Zachary Foust with Loft Realty, and this is
Patrick Campbell with Loft Realty.
Go figure. We bring the weekly market update here on TikTok and Facebook every Tuesday morning, so please either like the page, follow us. This is Pat Loft on TikTok, Patrick Campbell on Facebook, Zachary Foust on Facebook, and Zachary Loft on TikTok. Looking forward to connecting with you next week. We got Sean behind the camera. Y'all are the best. See you next week.